I'm Rhonda Bracey. I live in Western Australia, south of Perth. So I've travelled probably more than anybody to get here, some 30 hours, of which 24 was on a plane. In Microsoft Word, my most important tip for setting up an efficient workspace is to put things close to where you're going to need them. So I talk about setting up a quick access toolbar, sticking it underneath the ribbon, and I talk about creating your own ribbon with your most used commands. One other is to create as many shortcuts as you can so that you're far more efficient in writing comments and also consistent in writing comments to your authors. You don't need to have the latest Word software to implement the tips that I talk about in my session. Anything from Word 2007, particularly 2010 onwards, all of those tips apply. When Microsoft changed Word between 2003 and 2007, they introduced the ribbon. It confused a lot of people for a lot of time. And in 2010, they made some further changes to the ribbon, which allowed you to customize it. And from then on, all of that customization has been available to you. Yes, if you're a good writer, obviously it depends upon the writing you do. With fiction writing, perhaps not so much, but with corporate writing, which is what I'm familiar with, knowing how to set up autocorrects, auto text is incredibly valuable because you're often having to write company names, organisational names, product names, and having shortcuts for those so that they are consistent every time you write them and you don't, misname something. Then it's going to save you an awful lot of time in the writing process. How did I learn all these tips and tricks? There's an expression that we have in Australia called trial and bleeding error. I had a situation where I had been employed by a very large global oil and gas company. We had a very tight deadline on getting a whole lot of environmental plans to the federal and state regulators for approval so that a $60 billion project could go ahead. Those documents ranged from 200 to 900 pages each, and there were lots of them. And as part of the editing process, I had to make sure that even small things like a value and its unit of measure were never separated across a line. So, doing that manually over these incredible range of documents, an incredible number of pages, was just taking so much time. There had to be a better way. And so I spent a little bit of extra time to learn to do these sorts of tricks with find and replace and with macros and things to enable us to get through those documents much quicker. A lot of those routine tasks that were very tedious and manual, I was able to automate. So it came about because of need.